In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's 4 greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe. Their mission, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
Welcome everybody, we're back to Spinner Rack. The crew's hanging out, and I'm going to invite you once more to our crib. Number 1, here is P Money. On this side,
Right
That's P Money, huh?
Cal,
That's
he's just
P
so
Money,
out of
huh?
it. He's just so out of it. D-Man, as usual, causing a ruckus, and me, the host. Okay? Today we're going to talk about one of our favorite new shows, Jessica Jones. I can't see how anybody's going to dislike this show. But once again, the crew is going to think probably a little differently about it. Okay? Let me give you my synopsis of this show so far.
Oh, you going first now?
This is a first.
Because I'm afraid.
When
of
do
what
I go first? That's all I like to
I've
know.
given you a first before.
When?
Dude, we're missing the point, okay? You know what? I'm gonna bounce it off to my man, Cal. Bow. Cal, give us a little something.
Sleeping
about
over
Jessica
there,
Jones,
man.
Okay?
Well, pass it to Dennis.
I'm bouncing about to you. Okay?
See?
Give me a couple of words.
Oh man, it was too long. Should have been open by episode 4.
Okay. Did you like it?
He's got his head down. I don't know why you still start with these guys. I don't know why. Why does he start with these guys? Why? Why, America?
I take my time because you're gonna take 10 minutes anyway. But hey, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't for me after episode 4.
Look, we had a discussion earlier in one of our past episodes where we talked about a woman superhero and how it would work.
Wait a second. He made his opinion. Can we move on from him already? What's going on here? He made this. Did he just give his opinion? Okay, shouldn't he be moving on at this point?
I'm trying to
Okay,
listen more.
no.
I'm
There's no
trying to say-
listening. He doesn't want to answer anymore. He's done. Move
Let
on,
me
sir.
ask him if he's done.
You-
Let me
Yeah,
ask him.
this
He's
is
when
the
you
opening.
remain
Let me
silent,
ask
he's
him.
done.
Hold up. Are you done?
Guy.
This is the opening. You're supposed to be brief, so everybody else gets their
Right.
shots in, and then we're supposed to converge. Everybody's able to do that, with the exception of one person.
Thank you. All right. So, P Money, can you
Oh.
elaborate a little bit on what he wanted to say?
I'm not
On what he wanted to say? What can he elaborate on his own thing?
All right, let's
What's
just
going
move
on
forward.
here?
Wait, you can't let the man talk. You're taking over the mic. I'm gonna cut your mic off. So stop it.
Yeah, let me see you try to take on. Cut my mic now. Cut my mic.
Oh,
Cut my
my
mic.
God.
Lord.
I didn't
Okay,
think
all right,
you can.
all right.
Go ahead, man.
I watched Jessica Jones, and I enjoyed it.
Thank
There
you.
was a little bit too much of one villain.
Wait, are you knocking the Purple Man?
I am.
He was
'Cause
the
he
best
was-
thing.
but he was
He
in
was the
there
best thing on that
throughout
whole
the-
show. You know what I'm trying to
He was
say?
too much Purple Man.
But that's the whole
And
purpose.
if you take Purple Man and you put him against the character that he was originally for, Daredevil, it changes the whole thing because his powers doesn't work against Daredevil. So it's like, oh, okay, here's someone who can battle him. With putting in Jessica Jones, he can do whatever he wants. Like him losing is just him sort of giving up to Jessica Jones.
Him losing?
Yeah, because it's like he had to play into her. He had to give her an opening for him to lose.
Well,
Rather-
I mean, we understand it's a story that we got to tell a story. This villain can't exist after this point because we know he's just too powerful.
but how many times did they save him?
right.
He got captured, got saved.
But there was a reason why she said this had to be done. There was
But no, she
there was a
could've-
point she had to cross that line.
when they captured and put him in the back of the van, it should have been over then.
Put it this
Should've,
way,
but he
it could have been. But remember the bodyguards
The
that he
backup
had.
plan he
Okay,
had, right.
Okay, and I agree with
She's
you.
like, I can't
I
do
agree with you about
fumbling
too
and
much. I
whatnot.
agree with you with too much Purple Man because
Yes.
at some points you could have had some of his villain or some of his his henchmen take over or whatever. He could have had them
Yeah.
plotting stuff, and I agree with you. But
So then you're basically saying you was too focused on Jessica, his obsession with her.
I think
we
I
didn't
no,
have
no,
that-
I think
I can understand that.
I
I can
think
understand that a little bit.
I think the obsession part was cool. I didn't have a problem with it. Am I
And
speaking
buying
at
the
this point?
house
Am I
and-
speaking?
and paying twice.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm glad, America, that you can focus on me now. Get me here. Thank you, cameraman. Right here. Right here. Okay. The parts that that dipped for me was the house. That's the episodes that dipped. This whole part of that, I have to come home and I got to see you. It really dipped. Yeah, that's the part of the storyline that dipped me because I was just like, okay, this guy controls everybody. It's more or less. I like the whole part of when he's manipulating a situation where she has to come to him, or he's manipulating situations where he's out there, she doesn't know where he is. Just he's like a person away. You find me? Like there's just this person away. But when he reveals himself, and then it's like, okay, I want you, and I've set up this situation for you to come, because she rips her neighbor's head off. That was crazy.
Wait, I'm saying, what do you mean reveals himself? He's been revealed from. She knew
No,
the day after the girl.
But she didn't know where he was. That was that part of
She
the
went to
mystery.
the apartment. Remember, they went to the apartment
Went
in
to the
Chelsea.
went to the apartment is one thing. Did she find him? She was always, scared of
And then she found him in the park.
She saw him in the park. She didn't find him in the park because she was following the neighbor. But, something happened. She couldn't get to him. Once again, she missed opportunity.
But she did get to him. The van.
This is what I said. That's the part to me that dipped. Didn't you hear me say that before? You didn't
No,
hear
you
me
said
say
the
that,
house
right?
was what dipped.
Yeah, but that's the extenuation of the house, because after that she has to go to the get the neighbor, kills himself, and then he sets up this thing. She tries to turn herself in, and all of a sudden, no, Jessica, all these guys, and I didn't know his powers worked to the part of memory, and I was like, dang, I didn't know that. I thought it was just he forces you to do something, but you remember everything. But when he was saying, you guys, you forget why you did this, I'm like, that part of it didn't make any sense to me.
He didn't say in that part that they would forget. He was just he just gave him some.
No, he said that they will forget.
No, he said himself that he can't erase memory. He just said that they would.
So
see
why
the whole
is
thing
it
as a
that
joke.
why is it that they feel that they didn't need to go after him?
No, he never said.
Because
that they
he did say it. He said after he was leaving, he said, "You guys," I forgot his words. More like he said, "Forget that I was even here." Something like that. Forget that I wasn't even
He
here.
said, "You guys are gonna count to 10, and you're gonna think this whole thing was one big joke."
Right. That's what he said. So if you're
you go.
thinking it's a joke, that means that your memory, he's affecting memory.
But right before that, he says specifically, he says this: "I can't erase memory."
So do you think that's not a conflict?
I
No,
thought it was
I
a
don't think so
conflict
at
from
all.
episode 4.
Okay, it is a conflict.
It
If
was a
you're
conflict
saying
from episode
you're going to
4
think
when
this
he
is a
comes
joke,
over here
then
and
you're
he's got all
affecting
these
memory.
people.
You're
These guys
affecting how you
captured-
want
These guys captured him in episode 4.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
they had him in the van. He
Yes.
brings the bodyguard. Jessica Jones is easily stronger than 2 or 3 of these guys. She's hitting these guys.
Yeah,
they keep coming back.
that's definitely
Nuke
there.
is obviously stronger than the average guy because they kid him with the cattle prod, and he's like, okay, and he's still with it. So they should have been able to take those guys out, get them in the hermetically sealed room. That right there should have been the end of the show. They had him at that point. Fine. You want to drag it out a little bit more? I'll go with you. What was the whole thing? We need the Purple Man. We need the evidence because Hope is in jail.
Jail.
And so we need to go save her. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. By episode 10, that's when the whole thing, I was like, no, you extended this far too long because now you sent his parents in there with them. I was like, no, that was stupid. That was stupid, period. That was stupid. The potential for those guys dying was always
I
there.
like the parent bit. I like the parent bit.
parents only because they said that he was just bad altogether.
Yeah.
Like they were trying to make everyone plays into
What was
he's.
why did you need the Purple Man? Because you needed the Purple Man because there was no evidence to corroborate what Hope was saying. Once you had the parents, you had the evidence you needed. You have his own parents willing to
Well,
testify.
that's not-
you have all these other people.
Not for
all
what
you need is-
happened though.
I don't
Not
know.
for
It's
what
not
happened.
testifying.
It's not testifying.
All you need for her is reasonable doubt. You get enough people willing to testify, you got that
They
reasonable
already
doubt.
had a lot of the what
They
you call
had
the
it
people.
with the gun in their
They were
hand.
completely-
They had
Oh yeah,
it-
but that's the part of it. That's what was brilliant though. That was
That
brilliant.
wasn't brilliant.
That
They
was
were
brilliant of the
idiots.
story.
No,
That was brilliant for
And
the
then
story.
you got the
That
attorney.
those same people
No,
turned.
attorney, that
the
was
attorney's
terrible.
right there with
I
them.
like
saying,
that.
Yeah,
No.
The 1,000 cuts was hot.
No, it was not.
What?
She
I
basically
love
lets
the
him out
1,000 cuts.
again.
Yes.
Oh, come on. He
It
gets
was
out
needless.
again.
Okay,
Yes.
gentlemen, so let's get back
Because
to
remember,
this.
she's trying to get the divorce thing. That's the whole thing.
That
But
was
gentlemen,
ridiculous.
I like the
let's
1,000
wind back.
cuts.
Listen, going back again to when we first started this whole thing last several months ago when we had a show, we talked about whether this woman, female superhero, would it work?
Yeah, it worked
You
for
said
me.
it wouldn't work.
And you know what?
Got
I'm-
him.
I can say,
Got
I can
him.
take a mea culpa. I could.
She's not a superhero. It's a.
Is Daredevil considered a superhero?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Daredevil's
that
still a superhero. She's
Mario,
not a superhero.
we're with you on this one.
Okay, yeah.
He's on his own thing. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
think it did work, and I think that I doubt it. But the only problem I had basically is that unlike the other Marvel properties, let's just say Daredevil, and I'm not sure Luke Cage, I just thought they had too much sex in this.
No.
You know,
No
No.
way, you too much.
No.
Not
No.
enough.
No.
Not enough sex.
It was enough.
Not enough sex.
It's
There
just
was-
that,
there was-
it's a lot of sexuality.
Yes.
It's like
Yes,
you're framing
there
it
we
that
go.
the only way the male audience can see a female superhero is if there's a lot of sex going to be in
No, that's not true.
That's the way I took it.
No, that's not
Because
true.
She obviously has more power in the sex scenes.
Are you going to see that in Luke Cage? Is he going to have a lot of sex scenes and
It'll be the
psychological
reverse. Then
issues?
he'll have powers. No.
Exactly.
No.
I think because she's a female
No,
is
they
why
totally
they're doing something.
emasculated Luke Cage in
Not
this series.
emasculated.
No, they didn't
He
emasculate
just
him.
wasn't.
They didn't
empowered.
He
emasculate
wasn't the Luke Cage that I thought he would be.
He was a word that I cannot say because Mario's going to bitch about it.
Well,
Okay.
you're saying bitch. I'm bitching about that too.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
there
trying
you
to say?
go.
Don't be saying that either.
What you call it? No, I disagree. He wasn't emasculated. I
kinda
like Luke
agree.
Cage.
I
You know
I
what?
like Luke Cage.
Emasculate is a
It wasn't, but
emasculate
but
is
it wasn't
is a bit
his, but it
stretch.
wasn't his show.
But it
It
doesn't
wasn't
matter.
his.
Yeah,
It wasn't
that's
his
the
show.
point.
doesn't have to
That's
be
the
your
only
show.
thing.
He
It's
seemed
not
more-
It
his
doesn't have
show.
to be your show.
He
It's
seemed
not
more-
his show.
He seemed far more restrained than I would have thought. He didn't seem as
He
out
was
there.
not Luke
He was
Cage.
more.
He was not Power Man.
following the
Because
lead.
it's not
Well,
his show.
it
The
doesn't matter
focus
if
of
it's
the
his show or
show
not.
is
Well, he's more the-
Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
So this is
So?
why you're gonna have this. It's just like if
What-
no.
that
It's just
doesn't
like
make
if
any
you have.
sense.
It's
So
just like if you have.
It's not your show.
It's
so
not
we can
your
pretty
show.
Much,
Well,
we can pretty much devalue you on this show because
not
it's not your
devalue.
show.
Your
That's what you
role
did.
is going to be less, but he's not devalued.
wasn't
It
a
showed that
lesser
he's an
role,
important.
It was a lesser character. All he
No,
could-
because it's
everything he
not
did
that he's a
was for
lesser
her
character. No, it's
benefit.
not that he's a lesser
Everything
character.
he did was for
Well,
her
he's a
benefit. There
support-
was
Because it's
nothing-
her
character.
show.
He's a supporting
Every-
character.
Correct.
So-
For
so-
her
so-
show.
so look,
This is a character.
This
who's
is not
about
the
to
Luke
have
Cage
his
show.
own show.
I can see. Hold on, John.
When they do the defenders,
on
then
that,
you
I don't wanna
when
see
you do
you
when
guys
you do
do
the
that.
defenders,
John,
when they do the
they
defenders
get
and they
that.
have and they do that, then you have a
They
beef.
devalue
We can't work this way. Hold on a second. Look, we can all discuss this, but we can't talk over one another all the time.
We do that all the time.
But let's try. But let's limit it to a certain.
That's
amount
off
of time,
camera.
okay?
Go ahead.
What I'm just trying to say, I can see both point of views. Okay, one. When I saw Luke Cage, it wasn't the type of Luke Cage that I expected. Luke Cage in the comic.
I think he's more the Luke Cage from Jessica Jones
Comic book,
'Cause
yes.
They changed that
And
character.
they turned him into what? They turned him to
Maybe
they turned him
so,
into Buck.
but it's
turned him into
true to
strong
that
Buck for,
character.
you know,
I've
for that.
complained that to friends also that this isn't Luke Cage. This is more like, if you remember that character Rage, who had the shaved head and
Yep.
was superhuman.
I don't know that character.
But it's like he took the whole look and then they're like he just refit for Jessica Jones completely.
He,
and then
he
he's a
provides
supporting
Jessica
character
Jones
for
with
her.
he provides Jessica
Okay.
Jones with the sexual outlet she needs. She provides Jessica Jones with some, some humanization. But there is nothing that he did on the show. It's like, why do I want to see more of this character? I know Luke
Oh
Cage.
no, I wanted to see more of Luke
No.
Cage.
Why
I
do I
wanted
wanna
to see
see
more of
Luke
that.
Cage?
Again,
Sweet
I
Christmas.
kind of look.
Luke Cage
Generally,
spent most of the
Sweet
time on his
Christmas.
back. He got shot in the head, and he was just there.
He
and then
did not
disappeared.
spend most of the time
And
on
when
his
he-
back.
Yes, he
Wait
did.
a No, he
If he
didn't.
wasn't on the back having sex, he was knocked out from having shot in the head with a
No, it
shotgun.
wasn't. Remember the motorcycle scene, kid?
true.
Rev it up, son.
Back in the motorcycle.
okay,
If they're
whatever.
true, they would reverse
Bottom
the
line
roles on
is-
the motorcycle.
Luke Cage is one of the few. He's one of the few black male characters, okay, in comics, okay, who has come across from where his inception was to a high tier character, leader of the Avengers. So now I'm looking at this show, and I'm like, you totally devalued him for
He
me.
doesn't
This
seem-
No,
guy
it's
is
not
one of
even.
the-
No.
Yeah,
but
please,
I-
please
He
talk
didn't
over me.
devalue.
Please
He
talk
was not
over me after we're
devalued.
not supposed to talk over me now, right?
I'm agreeing with you, man.
All I'm saying is not devalued.
I'm not talking over you. I'm
Bottom
agreeing with
line
you.
is, there's nothing about that character that shows any of the growth that we saw in Luke Cage. He was what Brian Bendis wanted him to be in the Alias series, and all she needed at that point was a boy toy, somebody so he could do the sex scenes with Jessica Jones, and that was the end of it.
Okay,
so
so-
now
well-
he's gonna go from that
yeah,
to
yeah.
Luke Cage. Now he's gonna go from that to Luke Cage, Power Man, Steelheart Skin. No, man, you totally devalued it.
Okay.
Let's just say
After he goes, I go. Go ahead.
Luke Cage, the stuff that was going to leading the Avengers, that's inflating him. Like they've inflated him beyond where he was.
Whoa. Let him speak. Let him
'Cause
speak.
he's
Whoa.
stronger.
Let him speak.
He's stronger than the Thing now. Like where did this stuff come
He's
from?
stronger than the Thing. When did that
Yeah,
happen?
that's
Yeah, I didn't know
he
that.
punches the Thing and he's like, "Wow, I found that thing. I found that this guy is stronger."
But that's
than
just
me."
they just like to beat up on Ben Grimm. That's
I'm saying
that's
they've
pretty much
inflated
that.
him so much to make him that, to take him from what they did in Jessica Jones, to make him they took him, they tore him apart in Jessica Jones
To make him the Superman
and then
of
they
the
said, "Oh,
Avengers.
we're gonna make him better," because they had the sex scene in the comic.
Up to that point, it was in that first issue. Up to that point, with the whole before Jessica Jones, they had done a lot of good stuff with Luke Cage. First in the Power Man and Iron Fist series,
they did a lot
then
of
in
bad
that,
stuff,
and
too.
then that second Heroes for Hire series, where they were coming across like, no, Luke Cage speaks multiple languages. No, Luke Cage, he lets you think that he's just a streetwise person, but Luke Cage is pretty much no. He's been in this. He's been he's been educating himself. He's not just this guy who broke out of prison, okay? And they really did a lot to develop him. Bendis got his
That's
hands on him
inflating it,
and turned him
though.
into Strong Buck. Bendis turned him into Sweetback and put him over here in the Jessica Jones
That's
series.
not where it
Okay,
started, but because back in the 90s when Luke Cage had his own comic, remember they started using the N-word in his comic book?
You're talking about that Cage thing.
Yeah, the Cage. That's what I'm
with,
talking about. That's
That
it. Back in the
wasn't-
90s.
that wasn't the
But,
90s.
but anyway, here's my disagreement with you. To say the character is sexual and then say because he's a particular color he's become a buck, just because he's black. I
Yes,
mean,
it's because he's
no,
black.
no. If
have
it was
used
white,
bla-
it would be the same
they have
thing.
used black
no,
men
no,
like
no.
that
It's
in
the same thing.
countless amounts of
He is
series.
look. He's a male. She's a female. They're supposed to have a relationship. In the comic book, they have a relationship. So when does it start? Does the relationship start in his series or the relationship starts in her series?
How
It
about we
doesn't
don't do the
matter.
relationship
Can
at
you allow
all?
me to speak?
We
Because
don't
I'm
do
speaking
Jessica
at this point.
Jones. We do
Can I allow
Daughters
me
of
to
the
speak?
Dragon.
Can you allow me to speak?
Go
Can you allow
on.
me to speak? I'm just saying. So, if the character is supposed to have a sexual relationship or an intimate relationship with Jessica Jones, where does it begin? This is our first introduction of the character. Now, we don't need to know. Do we need to know his history from Luke Cage or from Luke Cage or from Jessica Jones? Where do we introduce this character? So since he's going to be a pivotal part of Jessica Jones' story, we introduce him in the Jessica Jones story because as Marvel has done and has done repeatedly, they introduce characters to get their spin-off. And that is all it comes down to. Not because he's a black guy and he's just a sexual a toy for her. As you saw from the story, he was not a toy because he himself initiated some parts of it as well. So if he was just a toy, it would be her influencing him. But she is somebody who is already shown to be having multiple partners. So it's not him that's sexual or overtly sexed. It's her. She's what you call it?
He had
She's
multiple partners too.
no multiple partners that that he started with. But when she found out she was married, he let that one go.
But you see the pictures. You see him with multiple
Yeah.
women. The first time we're introduced to him, he's taking a woman to bed.
That's the same woman.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, he had his wife, and then he has this woman.
He's reduced to this character.
No,
whose
we're
primary
introduced to
thing
his
is
character.
For her and for sex.
We're introduced
Okay.
to this character. No, it wasn't just sex because
Like
it
Mike
also
Kovler.
tells the backstory.
See, get in that bed.
No.
Anyway, to introduce his character is what Marvel has been doing all the time with the characters. Same with Black Panther in Civil War. Same with
got that,
what you
but
call? Hold on. Same with Black Widow in Iron Man because she was a sexual character. They didn't sleep together, but in the comic books they did. I mean, they had a relationship, right? But in this movie, because he has Pepper Potts, they couldn't play that up. But this is how Marvel does it. They introduce a character and then they get their own.
So we got that. So where are we going with this point?
What do you mean? That's my point. I told you.
Okay,
that's
so we
what-
got it. You reiterated. All right, so that's it.
Are you
Did
trying to- are you
I'm
trying
just
to-
saying, did you like the show?
Lord.
I love it. I love the ending. And I like Luke Cage. Sweet Christmas. The ending was hot.
I like this series too. But I have
Sweet.
problems with Luke Cage. What are you about?
I like the character. I didn't expect to like it. I was really disenchanted with the comic book, but I liked the show.
Yeah.
It's too much Kilgrave, Purple Man. For me.
I agree. I
was
didn't
my
say it was
favorite
just
character.
too much. Yeah,
Oh.
Kilgrave was hot.
It was off the hook.
I loved it.
You know,
I really like the ending though. How she twisted it around. Like, okay, you're gonna think that I'm really following you. I'm gonna let you get close enough, and then, yeah, I love you. Snap! And I was like, oh, got you. Beautiful, lovely ending.
Oh, no.
I
She
got
really,
you.
yeah, she really lucked out on that one.
I
didn't
liked
she?
it. Well, she wasn't gonna let him escape with the girl, but she's trying to do everything to give him the confidence to feel like he's in control.
Yeah.
Towing course. He
Yeah,
was
well-
stupid. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
there you
it
go.
wasn't so much that her plan worked. He was stupid. He was just so
Yeah.
agree.
he was just
Yeah.
so taken with it.
But that's a
So,
character
yeah,
that just had to go.
In the end, what do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a solid series. There's just some things that I couldn't reconcile with it. I don't like the portrayal of Luke Cage, and I thought they stretched it out. There were too many instances where the story could have ended, and there was nothing else to really justify it. You're saying, you're arguing, no, we can't kill Kilgrave. We can't kill him. Jessica herself is saying, no, we can't kill him. And then by the end, you kill him. So that means Nuke was right in episode 4. A lot of that stuff ended in episode 4. I mean, I thought it was a solid series. I thought it was well done. Okay, and
I love the introduction of Nuke
Marvel
as well.
continues to roll on.
don't
Marvel
know about
continues to
Nuke.
roll
I
on.
like
But
that part.
man, they gotta really, that Luke Cage series better really jump, man. I just thought that was a
You
really
know
big
what?
step
You know
that
what
far.
about the episode that was really surprising? How much gore was in there. The amount of gore. I mean, the arms. I mean, people chopped up. I was just like, wow, this was serious.
What about Hellcat?
what about
her?
Hellcat?
You mean Patsy Walker?
Patsy Walker.
Is she gonna be in it?
Isn't she Hellcat?
Yeah, she's supposed to be, but
Oh, yeah,
I
you're
don't see
right.
that. I don't see that happening
You're right.
with this
Oh
character.
wow.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
sure.
something? I totally went over my head. I forgot all about Hellcat. Because if you do Hellcat, you got the Son of Satan. Wow, you got the whole Defenders lineup.
Well, then the real
Gargoyle. I
Defenders.
mean, huh?
Yeah, the,
The
real
real
defenders,
Defenders, if they
not
can
this
do
crew.
that.
We're the original Defenders. I
The
mean,
real defenders.
So,
They
ladies
say
and
the real,
gentlemen,
like the real
ladies
Ghostbusters.
and gentlemen, thank you for showing up once again to the crib. We're all in agreement. We did like the.
Yeah,
we did like the. We did like the. The show, and so get back to us when you get a chance. Spinner Rack out.